What is going on, everybody? It's Jew coming to you with some more comic book reviews. Before I get started, yes, I do comic book reviews, trailer reactions, film reactions, anything recommended, podcasts, commentating, storylines, different stuff, and different news. So, alright, this week I read some brand new books, as well as also reading some continuing stories, getting to the end of a series on some of these books. But I'm going to start off with this book, and this is by Dynamite Comics, and this is called King Kong: The Great War. Now, I've read no Godzilla, no King Kong books, but I've been seeing them, and I decided to get started on one that had started a new series. Now, I want to start out with this one. This is issue 1. King Kong is basically about a group of, I don't know what they are. I don't even know, soldiers, mercenaries, but they're people that are on this island. They're trying to get to safety. They're trying to get to a safety spot to get safe until the night, to get through the night, to make sure they can have an opportunity to survive to get off of this island. Now, there's not very much action with King Kong in this series, or at least in this issue. Obviously, it's King Kong, but they're trying to make sure they're safe. And one guy, they sent a guy out to basically, it's in the middle of the night. They're like, hey, go out there and make sure everything's good. And they realize they're not they thought they would be safe if they go higher, and it turned out they're not safe. And basically at the end, that's when King Kong shows his face. Now, there's not much of a storyline going on with this right now, except for these group of people are trying to get in the right position, something must have went on in the past. Maybe I missed it or something. But right now, I'm not like super hyped or super excited about this. But it's something different. The art is fine. The artist is Alex Cox. And yeah, so this is issue 1. I'll get more into this as I go, but right now it's just it's okay. It was something new to try, but I'm not like extremely impressed, just to be honest with you. All right, let's get into the other books that we will continue to read, and this is Scar. This is Scar from Disney Villains, and if you're unfamiliar, there's a lot of Disney books that have been coming out for Dynamite Comics. One of them is Darkwing Duck, and they have another Disney villain coming out this week, which is Magnificent. So this is issue 2 of Scar, and I read issue 1, and I remember saying I was not impressed with issue 1, because basically they just made Scar look like he was weak. So in this one, I would say it's a little bit more of a hype and more of a build-up in this one. He's now getting to the vultures and the buzzards are trying to introduce him to to unite or collaborate with the hyenas. So it more focused on what the plan is and what they need to do, because he hates the idea that Simba has come to life as a new cub, and the plan for the future is for Simba to be the king. So he needs to come up with a situation where he can organize, and they're also plotting with him, the vultures. They're plotting with him so he can, I think they're actually using him, to be honest with you, but they just need like some type of protection with the lion. And he's becoming a coward, as he always is, stealing food from the lionesses, just doing, you know, cowardly stuff because of his jealousy and his demeanor towards his brother's kingdom that he wishes he had. And this one's a little bit better than the first one. The first one, like I said, I wasn't impressed with, but I'm getting more into the darker side of Scar. And I'm like, if you're going to be a villain, I need you to be a villain, not a coward and not a wimp. I mean, a lot of villains are cowards, but he's weak. He acts like he just acts like he's weak. Like he tries to be the bully, but he's getting bullied. I don't like that. I don't like that in villains. If you're gonna be a villain, be a villain. So yeah, this is issue 2, Dynamite Comics, Scar from Disney. Disney villains. Pretty decent book, not bad. It's got better. So, all right, so we have finished this book by Mark Miller. This is Nemesis. Nemesis is issue 5. I didn't realize I was on the last issue of issue 5. I didn't know issue 5 was going to be the last issue of the Nemesis, and we have finished Nemesis. So if you're unfamiliar with Nemesis, Nemesis is a guy that had a past that he did not really explain much at the beginning, but more deeper you got to each issue, you started to understand what the issue was. And his parents, I don't want to tell if you haven't read it. Basically, his parents were betrayed when he was a kid, and he lost them. And he had grown up with this anger to get revenge on the people who betrayed him and his family, and really, which is the law, the officers. And he became this vigilante villain, basically, and he's getting rid of, capturing people, knocking people off one by one, just knocking people off until he take everybody down, whether it's the chief or the mayor, just different people, and he's this absolute savage. This book is brutal. The series is brutal. It's very violent. But it's a story is very good. The dialogue is really good. I do really recommend Nemesis Reloaded, and they did a very good job with this. I would love to see this implemented to maybe even a film at some point, just to give you a visual of it. Because it's a pretty wild, it's a wild book. It's and the way it ended too. Like lots of times I hate how some stories end. It didn't end too bad. It ended really good. It ended with pretty much what do you call that? What do you call that? I can't think of the word. But it ended with a future, which means there's more to come, either spin-offs or either more series based off this book. And yeah, so I do recommend that you read this. Nemesis, really good book. Really good series, very great characters, very thought of by the writers, and the art, everything about it. So yes, Nemesis Reloaded. All right, so here goes another book that I finished. I finished the whole issue in this book. This is called Junkyard Joe. Junkyard Joe is a very interesting book. It's actually pretty good, by Image Comics. Jeff Johns is the writer. Issue 1 started off in the 70s during the Vietnam War, where this robot, it was actually a human, but it ended up being a robot. They thought the human was acting weird, but it was a robot with human skin. Basically, it was a machine that was created by the government with their own agenda for it, but it ended up being more of a friendly robot. So it was with the military, and while they were being attacked, it started protecting them. But it was revealed once the attack started happening and the skin came off, and they realized it was a robot. And it did what it did. It destroyed. And then at the end of issue 1, it kind of just stopped when it realized the war wasn't going anywhere, and it kind of shut down. But then, as the series went on, it went to the far future of the guy, the main character, which is Muddy. When he retired from the military, he decided that he was going to be a comic strip writer for the papers. And he made a comic basically based off of Junkyard Joe, the robot, and that's how he became famous. Now, years later, the robot shows up at his house. Okay, now the problem with that is the government's looking for this robot, so they're doing what they got to do to capture this robot. And it turns out this robot definitely was created, but it was manipulated or something, because it's not how they tend to create it. They wanted this robot to be more of a, I guess, just a killing machine. Do as we say, you do this, you do this. Maybe like a robot assassin. Anyways, they tracked him down. They ended up getting in danger. He had neighbors. They ended up in danger. The robot came. Now, things started to escalate. I just don't like how this ended. I think it ended horribly. I think it ended... Well, I'm wrong. Okay. It didn't end horribly, but I think the last issue was a little seemed rushed, but it was continued off the issue before. But I think there could have been a little bit more to the ending. I think it just seemed like it just abruptly was like this happened, this and this happened, now it's done. But overall, I give this like an 8. The issue at 8 because the dialogue is good, the art's good, and the idea of this story is good. So Junkyard Joe, give it a shot. Why not? Hopefully they can find some spinoffs or something for it for the future. Unless that's it, we'll find out. All right, Jew here. I'll see you on the next one.